everybody, John Craig with Performance Plus Tennis. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the role of the non-dominant hand on the serve. And in particular, we're going to talk about how it generates power, how it puts you in the trophy position, and what it should and shouldn't do to optimize your serve performance. So when it comes to the serve, so many tennis players are so focused on the swing technique, and they forget about the other parts that are really critical to the performance of the serve. And really, your non-dominant hand is such a key feature on the serve because it does literally everything. And your right arm, if you're a right-hander, it just goes along for the ride. But a lot of the ride is created by the movement pattern and the timing of the movement pattern with a non-dominant hand. And we're going to get into that in great detail. So for many recreational players, and I've worked with hundreds and hundreds for many years, we toss the ball and we forget about the hand. The hand just tosses it up and just kind of fades away and doesn't really help create a movement. So if you look at really good servers, after they release the ball, everybody does the same thing. They release the ball and then the hand follows the ball into a vertical position. And the intention of getting the non-dominant hand into the vertical position will naturally get you into a good trophy position where you've got a nice 45-degree angle in your shoulders. It'll get you here. It'll happen naturally because you won't go like this, because this was totally unnatural for me to do this. So when you're tossing, you'll keep your body nice and still, and once the ball leaves your hand, now your body will just follow your hand. So the angle relationship between my shoulders and my left hand remains the same from this point to this point. And that creates a unified movement that takes you into your trophy position. It coordinates the way you get to the trophy position to set up power on your serve. So that's the first key thing you've really got to work on. Now, I've seen a lot of recreational players that have trouble with that, and that may be a mobility issue. Maybe there's an injury here and there's a restriction, so the left-hander for a right-hander never gets up there. So if you have trouble with that, you've got to resolve that issue, because if you don't get the left hand up, you're never going to get into a trophy position. So you've really got to get that tossing arm vertical. It'll take you right into your trophy. And that's just a critical component to having a great serve. Next helpful piece of the non-dominant hand is that once I release the ball and my arm gets vertical, for me, it serves as a guideline for my ball toss accuracy. And particularly in the early stages, I like my students to place the ball up so the ball will come back into the hand, because this just serves as a good point of reference. We've got a big sky up here. There's really nothing up there to refer to except the hand. So I like to use that hand. And that would clearly not be a playable ball because it didn't come back near my hand. So that just tells me right there that that is playable. It came right back into my hand. Now, as you advance and develop your serve more, you'll see that most high-performance servers, many of them will go beyond vertical with that hand because it creates a good stretch and really strengthens up that trophy position. Now, the left hand really doesn't serve as a point of reference for ball toss accuracy, but by then you really have a good feel for where the ball is going to be. But in the beginning, you can use it to say yes or no, and that's clearly a no, right? It's nowhere near my hand. So that's the key thing that your left hand can help you do, is to really show you whether the ball is playable or not. Once the ball's playable, and you see it's playable, the non-dominant hand is actually going to be the catalyst that's going to take you from the trophy position and rotate you around and take you to contact. This left hand, for me, being a right-hander, is a strong position here. I feel a good, strong stretch, and then I pull it away. And as I pull it away, I push with my legs, and it helps rotate me around and draw my shoulders into the angle for contact. So the left hand is a big contributor to creating that power. At this stage, when I'm in the trophy position, I feel strong here and firm, and I feel soft and relaxed here. This is just waiting to go for the ride that's going to be created by the leg drive and the pull away, and the racket will fall and rise by itself. So next up, oftentimes recreational players will actually abandon thinking about the non-dominant hand even once it gets to the vertical position. Then really, you don't really know what to do with it, but it is that catalyst that's going to create the timing of the swing and create a lot of the power. But the role of this hand and where it goes is also very, very important. So, for example, if my left hand just fades away off to the left, naturally I'm going to be opening up. I'm going to be opening up. It's not really controlling me. So for me, what I like to do is I like that hand to fall generally in the direction I'm playing the serve, and then have it keep me in alignment with my contact in my direction that I want the ball to go. So if you look at most professional players, when they're going into contact, you're going to see that non-dominant hand holding right here where you can see mine on the right-hand side of my body. You're going to see that right there. Very, very important that you get that. And the timing of this is also important. And this is an interesting topic too, because we hear so many coaches say, keep the tossing arm up, keep the tossing arm up. But the reality is the tossing arm goes up and it stretches up, but then it pulls away. And if you look carefully at virtually every high performance server, you'll see that the non-dominant hand is actually down when the racket gets to its lowest point. They're actually matching here. So the whole time the racket's rising, the hand is holding. And what it's actually doing is it's holding my balance. It's holding me right there, and I'm leaning off to the left a little bit, but this is holding me. So it's pulling me into the shot and holding me as I come in. So this hand is very, very important. The timing of it and the movement pattern of the left hand, for me, is critical to controlling my serve. Keeping in mind that this part is just going along for the ride and having fun. Next up, there's a term that floats around called the power X. And the power X is where your arms actually create an X across each other like this. Now let me just ask you, does this look natural or does this look ridiculous? Because there's nothing natural about this. And as tennis players, we want to discover movement patterns that are comfortable and natural and perform well. So you really don't see, well, there's a couple players, maybe one or two on the ATP, but you never really see anybody doing a power X. In fact, all I'm doing is crimping my shoulder into me here, and this is awkward and weird. You don't really want to try to do a power X. What you want to do is pull that hand down, hold it firm, and then play it through, and then it'll just float away naturally, as we see so many players doing, like Nick Kyrgios with his serve, and Andy Murray with his, and Dominic Thiem, who's now retired. Also, you'd always see that non-dominant hand here at the end of the serve. But this is just a counterbalance move because they're putting so much energy forward, it's just going back to counterbalance. But the timing of the hand when they're making contact is they're all right here, and then it releases. So don't be fooled by the left hand being behind you, because it doesn't go there while you're making contact. It goes there as a counterbalance move after contact. So in summary, understand how to use your non-dominant hand to actually control how you get to and get out of almost every position on the serve. Don't try to do a power X. Focus on bringing that hand in, holding it, and then letting it go. But you can see even here, there's never an X. And if you're trying to do an X, you're going to be swinging across your body, and you're potentially going to get an impingement in your shoulder, and you're going to restrict your movement on your serve. And here's a really valuable tip that's going to help you even start your serve better using the non-dominant hand. So for me, when I walk up to serve, I let the racket and the ball sit in my non-dominant hand. So when I come up and I just put my playing hand on the handle, I can control the amount of tension I have in it. So it's pretty soft. So my left hand's got the racket and the ball. My right hand is nice and soft in the continental grip. And as I enter into my routine, I just let the racket just float behind me. And then when I start my serve again, I let the left hand take the weight of the racket and the ball so that I don't change this tension. So I'm really setting up the relaxation that I have in my arm and in my hand so that when I enter the serve, it feels exactly the same way. So the role of your non-dominant hand actually begins before you even start your serve, and then it does all these key things we've talked about in this lesson. So work on these things. Focus on the non-dominant hand, and don't worry about your swing at this point in time. Your non-dominant hand will lead you into and out of the key positions you need to develop to create a great serve. Thank you so much for watching today's lesson, and I hope you'll take these concepts to the court and work on that non-dominant hand to improve your serve performance. Please give us a like, leave your comments down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more content coming here at Performance Plus Tennis that's going to help you with your tennis game. And then finally, if you want to dive deeper into your serve, click in the link in the description down below to get my free mini course on the 5 key principles you need to develop to create that professional quality serve. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next lesson.